Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savalutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishkam Vitam Sya Om Jnana Timaranda Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshuramudam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. So I'll continue with this reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. And this is Madhya-lila, chapter 15. The Lord accepts prashadam at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Okay. Huh? Yeah? Sarvabhauma grihe bunjan swanin dakam amogakam angikurvan sutam chakre gora swam bhakta vatsyatam. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking prashadam at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Amogha criticized him. Still the Lord accepted Amogha, thereby showing how much he was obliged to his devotees. And this is a very nice chapter. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Shrotagan Chaitanya Charitamrita Jara Pranadan. All glories to the listeners of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita who have accepted it as their life and soul. Emata Mahaprabhu Bhaktagan Sange Nilachale Rahikore Nrityagita Range. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Jagannath Puri, he constantly enjoyed chanting and dancing with his devotees. What?
She's saying Jai Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan.
Who?
Divya Shari.
Oh. Who is this?
This is Narada Muni.
Narada Muni has come down to the earth.
This is my friend Chaitanya Doya. She's come from San Francisco. Chaitanya Doya.
Chaitanya Doya. She's come from where?
San Francisco.
Okay. Pratama Vasare Jagannath Darshan Nrityagita Kore Danda Paranama Stavan. In the beginning of the day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the deity of Lord Jagannath in the temple. He offered him obeisances and prayers and danced and sang before him. Upalabhog Lagile Kore Bahire Vijay Haridasa Mili Aise Apana Niloy. After visiting the temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would remain outside during the Upalabhog offering. He would then go meet Haridas Thakur and return to his residence. At noon, when there was an Upalabhog offering in a place called Bhogavardhanakanda, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go outside the temple. Before going outside, he used to stand near the Garuda Stamba column and offer his obeisances and prayers. Afterwards, the Lord would visit Siddhabaku, where Haridas Thakur lived. After visiting with Haridas Thakur, the Lord would return to his own place at the abode of Kashi Mishra. Garibase Kore Prabhu Namasankirtan Advaita Asiya Kore Prabhura Pujan. Sitting in his room, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant on his beads, and Advaita Prabhu would come there to worship the Lord. It's very nice to see all these children and everything. Reminds me when I was young and how much, with myself and my brother together in age, how much my mother had to go through with us. And she was, after some time, she was just praying to have a girl. And she did after some time. Garivasi Kore Prabhu Nama Sankirtan Advaita Siya Kore Prabhura Pujan. Sitting in his room, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant on his beads, and Advaita Prabhu would come there to worship the Lord. Sugandhi Salile Dena Padya Achaman Sarvange Kripaye Prabhur Sugandhi Chandan. While worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaitacharya would offer him scented water to wash his mouth and feet. Then Advaitacharya would smear very fragrant sandalwood pulp on the body of the Lord. Gale Mala Dena Matai Tulasi Manjari Jodahate Stute Kore Pare Namaskari. I remember Govinda Maharaj, he would go to the samadhi of Guru Maharaj when we were going on parikrama, and he'd be there with other devotees with garlands and sandalwood paste, and he'd give garland and sandalwood paste to all the people going on the parikramas. And he saw when they were giving garlands, then there would be an unlimited quantity of marigolds, right? Marigold garlands especially. Gali Maladena Matai Tulasi Manjari Jodahate Stuti Kore Pare Namaskari. And to the leaders of the parikramas that they would give, I don't know whether they were champak or narda, what do they call them? Tubros. Galimala Dena Matai Tulasi Manjari Jodahate Stuti Kore Pare Namaskori. Sri Advaita Prabhu would also place a flower garland around the Lord's neck and tulasi flowers, manjaris, on his head. Then with folded hands, Advaita Acharya would offer obeisances and prayers unto the Lord. Puja Patre Pushpa Tulasi Sesha Jai Achila Se Sabloya Prabhu Acharya Pujila. After being worshipped by Advaitacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would take the dish containing flowers and tulsi, and would, whatever paraphernalia remained, worship Advaitacharya. Yosi Sosi Namostute Ematrapade Mukhya Bhagya Kore Prabhu Hasaya Acharjare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would worship Advaitacharya by chanting the mantra Yosi Sosi Namostute, which means, whatever you are or whoever you are, whatever you are, but I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Whoever you are, okay, I offer my obeisances unto you. That's what this mantra means. Yosi Sosi Namostute. In addition, the Lord would make some sounds within his mouth that would make Advaitacharya laugh. And I talked about that yesterday. I especially remember Sagar Maharaj. Sagar Maharaj was very distinct in the sounds that he could make, because he is from New Zealand, and his mother is British, but his father was a Maori. So he could, whenever dogs would come, and we would say to the dogs, like the Bengalis would say, "Hut!" But the dogs wouldn't move. But when Sagarmar said "hut," the dogs all ran. It's very loud. And then he used to make a sound with his mouth, like clicking sound. Who did that yesterday? Yeah, but louder than that, very loud. So it says here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would worship Advaitacharya by chanting the mantra, Yosi Sosi Namostute. Whatever you are, but I offer my obeisances. I offer my respects unto you. Whoever you are, okay, I worship you. In addition, the Lord would make some sounds within his mouth that would make Advaitacharya laugh. Ematanyonye kore namaskar prabhure nimantrana kore acharya bar. In this way, Advaitacharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would offer the respectful obeisances unto each other. Then Advaitacharya would extend an invitation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. Acharya nimantrana ascharya katan vistare varni jachan dasha vrindavan. Indeed, Sri Advaitacharya's invitation is another wonderful story that has been very vividly described by Vrindavan Das Thakur. I think that's one where we heard that Advaitacharya wanted to offer Mahaprabhu prashadam, but he didn't want to feed so many devotees. So then a thunderstorm came and kept many people from coming, but I think he dissipated the storm for Mahaprabhu to pass by playing on kartals like that. So, indeed, Sri Advaitacharya's invitation is another wonderful story that has been very vividly described by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Punarukte hoy tahan koilun varnan arabakta gana kore prabhore nimantran. Since Advaitacharya's invitation has been described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, I shall not repeat the story, but I shall say that other devotees also extended invitations to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ek din, ek bhakta grihe mahotsab, Prabhu Sange Tahan Bhojan Kore Bhakta Sab. Day after day, one devotee after another would invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the other devotees to lunch and would also hold a festival. So the devotees would come from, so many devotees would especially come from Bengal right before the Gundicha Marjan. They would come there. And that's before Ratha Yatra. Then they would stay for 4 months in Puri during the rainy season. And we've been to Puri during the Ratha Yatra, and sometimes it's very hot. So at the beginning of the Ratha Yatra, they spray everybody with rose water from like a spraying thing, but during the Ratha Yatra also it's very hot, and sometimes they would bring like these old style fire trucks and then spray you down with water from the fire trucks, which is was kind of welcome because they spray it up and it falls a mist on everyone. Get you wet, but it was so hot, it was a relief. So, day after day, so the devotees are offering invitations to the Lord, and it's principally all these invitations are going on mostly during the 4 months. The 4 months when everybody's visiting from Bengal during the Chaturmasha. Chaturmasha means 4 months. But then after that time, then the local residents from Puri, then they could offer sometimes Mahaprabhu invitations. Charimas, Rohila, Sabe, Mahaprabhu Sange, Jagannather, Nana Jatra, Deke, Maharange. All the devotees remained at Jagannath Puri for 4 continuous months, and they observed all Lord Jagannath's festivals with great pleasure. Krishna Janma Jatra Dine, Nanda Mahotsav, Gopavesh Hoila Prabhu, Loya Bhaktasab. The devotees celebrated the festival of Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday, which is also called Nanda Mahotsav, the festival of Nanda Maharaj. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees dressed themselves as cowherd boys. So, let's see, we're in June, so right after, I guess it's the Amavasya. Amavasya, I guess it's of, what month is that? Trivikram, I think. But this year, about every 3 years, an extra month is inserted into the calendar. So we have leap year, where an extra day is inserted every 4 years into the calendar. February 29th, that's leap year. But on the lunar calendar, there are 12 months and some extra days that occur every year, every solar year. Anyway, so to keep the calendar from going forward too much, I mean, sometimes, and remember one year that Gaur Purnima was like February 26, which is really early. So it shows you that the calendar is creeping forward and creeping forward. Then every 3 years or so, they add the Purushottama month, an extra month. So this year they added that month, and it was in, it finished that Purushottama month. Normally months go from Purnima to Purnima, from full moon to full moon. But to put in the extra month, they have half a month going from Purnima to Amavasya. Then they put in the whole extra month. And then the previous month finishes the Amavasya to Purnima, which is now what's happening this month. We're now, tomorrow is Purnima. So it'll be the end of this month, but the second half of this month was just added at the last Amavasya. So that means everything is much later than it was. Like this year Gaur Purnima was on March 3rd. But next year, 2027, Gaur Purnima will be late in March. And as a result of the extra month, Janmashtami won't happen till September. Normally, many years it's in August, but this year in September. So, let's see. Let's see, we're talking about Janmashtami now. It says, the devotees celebrate the festival of Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday, which is also called Nanda Mahotsav, the festival of Nanda Maharaj. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees dress themselves as cowherd boys. So Krishna appears on Janmashtami, but he appears at midnight. So when certain festivals, and of course, he was born in Kamsa's jail. So what kind of a birth celebration, birthday can you have in a jail at midnight? So then Vasudeva takes Krishna across the Jamuna and exchanges him for the girl baby born to Mother Yashoda, and brings that girl baby back to Mathura, to Kamsa place. And then Mother Yashoda didn't remember, whether she'd given birth to a boy or girl, but then she saw Krishna there, so she saw, Krishna, she considered Krishna as her son. And Balaram, who had been also previously, what was he? He was born, what is it? How was it that Balaram is born also in Mathura? Originally he's there, but then they think that what is it? That Devaki had a miscarriage or something.
That he actually appeared first. He appeared in Devaki's womb.
And then was
Gurudev said to prepare things.
A what?
Gurudev said to prepare. I think Vishwanath Chakravarti says it, make a nice arrangement, prepare for things.
So then he was transferred from the womb of Devaki to Rohini in Vrindavan. So now both Krishna and Balaram are in Vrindavan. So then, now in Vrindavan, Mother Yashoda wakes up and she finds Krishna and everything. So then they have a big birthday celebration. So that's why it says here, the devotees celebrate the festival of Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday, which is also called Nanda Mahotsav, because now he's there with Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Muni in Vrindavan. The festival of Nanda Maharaj. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees dress themselves as cowherd boys. So they call it Nanda Mahotsav, just like with Mahaprabhu, they call it Jagannath Mishra Mahotsav. But really, the main figures in the, of course, Nanda Maharaj is important, but the main figure with Krishna is Yashoda, Mother Yashoda. He's more known as Yashoda Nandana than he is as Nanda Nandana. And well, as Devaki and Vasudeva, their relationship with Krishna was more respectful in a way, because when he first appeared to Devaki, he had a whole head of hair and bracelets and armlets and, clothes and everything. And he showed himself as Vishnu, four-handed. So they weren't, that a little bit of a slight inhibitor to maternal affection. Their worship was more reverential. But then he takes the form. Devaki asks him to take the form, regular child form, and then he's taken to Vrindavan. So in Vrindavan, then they have the full-scale birthday celebration. That also, years later, that affects us too, because on Nrsimha Chaturdasi, Krishna Janmashtami, even Mahaprabhu's appearance day, we're fasting till the evening. So when they have the celebration, it's a what do you call that? You call that a more of a
Anukalpa? Anukalpa?
Anukalpa, yeah. We're having, what do you call it? When you're not taking grains, you're not taking grains, but on Ekadasi. So on the night on those nights of Janmashtami, Gaur Purnima, and Nrsimha Chaturdasi, we're taking Anukalpa. We're not taking grains. And the real feast is held the next day. But here, especially people are working the next day, so then they make a modest feast for everyone in the evening, consists of very austere preparations like cheesecake made with walnut crust and goranga potatoes, which are, potatoes with a modest dressing of ghee or butter, sour cream, and ghee, cream, and what else? Oh, cheese. All right. So they have on those days, they have very modest Ekadasi preparations. Because people are working the next day, they can't so much come to the temple at midday. So let's see. Dadi Dugda Barasabe Nijaskande Kori Mahatsava Stani Aila Bole Hari Hari. Having dressed up like cowherd boys, all the devotees carried pots of milk and yogurt balanced on rods over their shoulders. Thus they arrived at the festival grounds chanting the holy name of Hari. So that's how you can transport clay pots full of milk and yogurt. You have a rod or a stick, and they have the pots hanging on each end, and then you balance the rod on your shoulders, and that's the way they could transport it. So having dressed up like cowherd boys, all the devotees carried pots of milk and yogurt balanced on rods over their shoulders. Thus they all arrived at the festival grounds chanting the holy name of Hari. Kanai Kutiya Achan Nanda Shadori Jaganan Mahate Hayachan Brajeshwari. Kanai Kutiya dressed himself like Nanda Maharaj, and Jagannath Mahiti dressed himself as Mother Yashoda. Apane Prataparudara Mishrakasi Sarvabhauma Ara Padichabhatra Tulasi. At that time, King Prataparudra was also personally present with Kashi Mishra, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Tulasi Padichabhatra. So the king, Maharaj Prataparudra, is there at the Janmashtami celebration, and he's there with Kashi Mishra, where Mahaprabhu stays, and what's the name of Mahaprabhu's, the place where he stays? Gambhir. That Gambhir is actually the house of Kashi Mishra. And Sarvabhauma is there, and Tulasi Padichabhatra. Tulasi Padichabhatra, he's like kind of like the superintendent of the Jagannath temple. Iha sab loya prabhu kore nritya ranga dade dugda hridra jale bare sabar anga. As usual, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced jubilantly. Everyone was covered with milk, yogurt, and yellow turmeric water. These are boisterous celebrations.
Maharaj, I have a question. What does Gambhir mean?
Gambhir?
Yeah. Deep? Mm.
That's right. That's a very good answer.
It also means like very sober.
No, that's good. That's good.
It also means like very sober.
Sober.
A what?
Sobriety, very sober.
Oh, yeah. We do say that's very gambhir, but it means very deep. That's deep. Very sober. Advaita kohe, satya kohe. I'm sure more than once I heard that from Srila Govinda Maharaj as he admonished me. We have to be gambhir. We have to be serious. Advaita kohe, satya kohe, na koriya kop, laguda, firaite, para tabe, jani kop. At this time, Srila Advaitacharya said, "Please do not be angry. I speak the truth. I shall know that you are a cowherd boy only if you can wield this rod about." Tabe laguda loya prabhu firaite lagila bara bara akashe feli lufia darila. Accepting Advaitacharya's challenge, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a big stick and began to wheel it around and around. And again and again he threw the rod into the sky and caught it when it fell. So, this reminds me of, I always see these parades, especially New Year's parade and everything. And they'd have mostly, what do they call it? Ladies twirling.
Yeah, I was a majorette.
What?
I was a majorette, yeah.
Majorette. But sometimes they have men do it too. But I always thought that, a lot of the things in the parade are a little boring, but that was always interesting, them twirling this baton around and throwing it in the air and twirling it between their legs and over their shoulders and all that. I saw that also when it was sent. A couple times I got sent to what is it called? The Rainbow Festival. Until I was going, until Govinda Maharaj told me, I don't want my sannyasis attending the Rainbow. I could understand for what reason. And I said, well, but Avadut Maharaj, he goes to festivals in Russia, and they're like the rainbow festivals. And then at that time, Govinda Maharaj said, yes, but he's a young sannyasi. So also at one rainbow festival, there was a lady twirling a fire rod. She was twirling. She wasn't properly clothed, but but she did twirl the fire rod around. So it's and here's Tabe laguda loya prabhu firaite lagila bara bara akashe feli lufia darila. So Advaita said, I'll accept that you're a cowherd boy only if you can wheel this rod about. Accepting Advaitacharya's challenge, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a big rod and began to wheel it around and around. And again he threw the rod into the sky and caught it when it fell. Shirira upare prishte samuke dui pashe paramadye firai lagura deki lokhase. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wheeled and threw the rod, sometimes over his head, sometimes behind his back, sometimes in front of him, sometimes to his side, and sometimes between his legs. All the people laughed to see this. So he's really twirling this rod, throwing through the rod, sometimes over his head, sometimes behind his back, sometimes he's twirling it in front of him, sometimes to his side, sometimes between his legs. All the people laugh to see this. Alata chakrera praya laguda firai deki sarva loka chite chamatkarapai. When Mahaprabhu whirled the rod in a circle like a firebrand, the heart of everyone who saw it was astonished. Yeah, so you can see that, on 4th of July, people twirl sparklers around. So it looks like a wheel of fire. So, but with Mahaprabhu, he's twirling his stick so fast, it looks like what's the word here? Alala chakra, the circle of a firebrand. Emata nityananda firai laguda. Ke bujibe taha duhara gopa baba guda. Nityananda Prabhu also played at whirling the rod. who can understand how they were ecstatically immersed in the deep emotions of the cowherd boys. Yeah, for Krishna and Balaram to twirl rods around like a cowherd boy. Of course they're going to be able to do that. Prataparudra Agyai Paricha Tulasi Jagannatara Prashad Bastra Ek Loya Asi. Following the orders of Maharaj Prataparudra, the temple superintendent named Tulasi brought one of Lord Jagannath's used cloths. Bahu Muya Bastra Prabhu Mustake Bandila Acharjare Prabhu Ganere Paraila. This valuable cloth was wrapped around the head of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The other devotees headed by Advaitacharya also had cloths wrapped around their heads. Kanai Kutiya Jagannath Duvijan Aveshe Bilaila Gare Chila Jatadan. And then when we were in Gaur Purnima, we went and go to I guess the Bhaktivedanta Thakur's his, I guess it's his birthplace in Surabhikunj. And then they'd come, some persons would come, like Brahmin, and he'd wrap red and yellow threads around your hand and then tie them. Very auspicious. And they also have another day when they have like that, what is the name? They say brothers and sisters worship each other. Do you remember the?
Rocky.
Huh?
Rocky, isn't it? Rocky.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember the name of the day. It's it's in our calendar, and it's on that day. Somebody's sister would cook a meal for them, serve her brother, and then the brother and sister, they'd exchange these colored threads that they'd wear on their wrist. That was very nice, those things. And when we go to when we're in Mexico, so we go to the beach at Veracruz, and they're selling all these colored threads. People will wear threads around their wrists. Very beautiful, very nice. So we're going in. We'll go to Mexico in July. And Ashram Maharaj is trying to bring Niriha Maharaj there in July. We'll see as it works, because Niriha Maharaj is very busy. I mean, he attends the Ratha Yatra in June, and then he has to get all documents together and everything, and there isn't very much time. So last year it didn't work. Maybe this year we'll see if that works. And also then, a few days before all these earthquakes in Venezuela, then I received a phone call from, what's his name? No, from, Siddhanti Maharaj. Now his name is Siddhanti Maharaj before.
Nimai Chandra.
Yeah, his brother. Purujit called me and said, so we're trying to bring Niriya Maharaj to Venezuela. So I think, he said, I think this year it'll be safe for you to come to Venezuela. Very safe. Well, that was before the earthquakes, but previously we had a little bit of trepidation about going to Venezuela because, the relationships between Venezuela and America weren't so cordial. But Purujit said, now it's a little different, so you can come. And I did hear that they opened up the American embassy or something after so many years. But, so if I can, maybe I'll go there. I always liked Venezuela very much. It's very beautiful. Anyway, I'm going to stop here. Should I stop here? Or?
More verses,
Couple more verses. I'll read just a couple more verses. This valuable cloth was wrapped around the head of Mahaprabhu. The other devotees headed by Advaitacharya also had cloths wrapped around their heads. It's Jagannath Prashad. Kanai, Kutiya Jagannath, Duijan, Aveshe, Vilai Lagare, Shila Jatadan. In ecstasy, Kanai Kutiya, who was dressed as Nanda Maharaj, and Jagannath Mahiti, who was dressed as Mother Yashoda, distributed all the riches they had stocked at home. So both of them are heads of their family, but they're dressed as one is dressed as Nanda Maharaj, and the other man he's dressed as Mother Yashoda. So they're doing the play, and then they're distributing everything they had to the devotees as like giving charity like you would if you were Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. Deki Mahaprabhu Bora Santosh Vaila Mata Pita Gyane Duhe Namaskara Koila. Of course, they're really giving charity. They're really giving away everything they had. It's not just a play at that time. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was greatly satisfied to see this. Accepting them as his father and mother, he offered them obeisances. We don't have cows like that, so you just say, oh, here, take the keys to my car. Parama Abheshe. Mahaprabhu was greatly satisfied to see this. Accepting them as his father and mother, he offered them obeisances. Parama Abheshe Prabhu Ailani Jagar, E Madhya-lila Kore, Goranga Sundar. In great ecstasy, Mahaprabhu returned to his residence. In this way, Mahaprabhu, known as Goranga Sundar, performed various pastimes. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. Finish that pastime. Hey, Narada, come in. Let him in. He's knocking on the door. Let him in.
Maharaj said, let him in.
Yeah, come in. Careful. Don't let that fat baby fall. You come in. His mother, too. You have to be near here. Oh, well, he's with his grandmother. Then you come in, too. Okay. You can play kartos. Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Janardan Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raguna Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raguna Chai Gosai Kori Charana Banan Jai Te Vignana Shambhista Puran Chai Gosai Jambe Braje Chai Gosai Charmui Taradas Chai Gosai Kori Charana Bandan Chai Gosai Kori Charana Bandan Jai Te Vignana Shambhista Puran Jai Te Vignana Shambhista Puran Chai Gosai Jarmui Taradan Tasamar Padarenu Mora Panchagras Pader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame more amilan Chai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilaman Radha Krishna Nitya-lila Korila Pradan Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Korea Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamada Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitya Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Jo Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Tilak Nirya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajakacharya Ashta Tadra Sadra Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajakacharya Ashta Tadra Sadra Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Rakakshira Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rubanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namachar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Ki Jai. Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vishwavaranya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad Ki Jai. Shri Vishaka Devi Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari.